Well, I'm going to take a little bit of a break from my MEGA65 User's Guide series here and before I go for a run, thus the running apparel. And there was a question whether or not we could run Sonic in C64 mode on the MEGA65. Now, of course, probably not in C64 mode on the MEGA65. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at the MEGA65, which I have booted up here, if I type Go64 and we go into Go64 mode, that's a very limited emulator of the C64. It'll do some things, but for something like homebrew Sonic, probably not going to work, because one of the other things that Sonic requires is a RAM expansion unit or an REU. So how can we overcome that limitation on our MEGA65? Well, thankfully, there is a group of developers out there who have created something called the C64 Core. We're going to load up the C64 Core and see if we can get it to run the homebrew version of Sonic. Let's check it out. So the first thing I'm going to do is power off my MEGA65, and I am going to pull out the micro SD card. I'm going to plug that in over here on my Mac. And you see that we have the SD card right here. And you can see I have quite a few things on here. This is, of course, the SD card I am using to run my MEGA65. It should be updated with all the latest release. This is not beta release. This is all the latest release. But that really doesn't matter because the C64 Core is loaded on the MEGA65. I do have some titles under here under the C64 subdirectory. So what I'm going to do is we are going to download the Sonic files. And you'll find those over here at the CSDB. And this is Sonic the Hedgehog version 1.2. Is homebrewed in 2021. We're going to grab the .d64 files, which are right here. And that's pretty fast. I mean, it doesn't take long to download a Commodore 64 program, even one that requires a RAM expansion unit. And I'm going to drag this out onto the desktop. All right, and you'll see that right here. And there should be two .d64 files in there. There they are. We're going to take both of those. We're just going to drag them over to the SD card. And we will eject that SD card. This is Sonic the Hedgehog version 1.2 released by Mr. Sid, and this is considered a very big feat for Commodore 64. It was often thought that something like this couldn't run on a Commodore 64, so we're going to check it out and see if it will run. I know there have been folks that have run it on their C64s. You can see it's got 10 out of 10 Commodore logos here, so that's really good. I'm going to go ahead and grab the micro SD card, and we are going to plug it back into the MEGA65. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to boot the MEGA65 into C64 mode. So I'm going to do that by holding down my no scroll key and flipping on the computer. This is all covered in Chapter 5 of the user's manual. And you'll see the C64 Core version 5.1, which I do believe is the latest as of this video, is loaded in slot 2. So let's go ahead and load slot 2. Now, for this particular demo, I am grabbing the new Atari CX40 Plus joystick. Okay, now we need to check a few settings. Let's hit the help key. First thing we need to do is mount the drive. Let's go ahead and hit that. And you'll see right here, it's automatically gone to that C64 subdirectory, which I really like. So we're going to load that one. Then we want to make sure that we do have the RAM expansion unit loaded. So let's go ahead and simulate that right here. We hit the space bar. We don't need to simulate a cartridge or anything else. That should do it. So we're going to go ahead and close our menu. All right, and then we're going to try and load it. Let's do Commodore and run stop or Mega and run stop. Okay, it is trying to load. Let's see if it works. Okay, I do not believe this is loading. Let's try something else. Let's go ahead and reset. Now, if you reset, it should go right back into the C64 mode. Let's check all of our settings again. Okay, we're going to close the menu. I am going to shut off the MEGA65. I am going to load the EPYX Fast Load. Now, this may or may not work either, but we'll give it a shot. Okay, you can see the Fast Load cartridge. Let's check and see if we can read a directory. Okay, so it is reading the directory. So instead of hitting the Mega and run stop, let's try this the old way. Let's see if this works. Let's see, did it load something? It looks like it loaded something. Now let's run this. Okay, we're at that same screen. Oh, no REU found. Sonic needs at least 256 kilobytes. So let me see, maybe I forgot to activate that. Oh, I did. So we'll need to come back in here and reactivate that. So I am going to have to reset. So that means I'm going to have to redo a couple of things here. All right, so now we have, let's mount our drive. Okay, We are simulating the REU, so we're good there. Let's go ahead and close the menu. See, it's just a little tricky. You have to make sure you get everything selected. Now, let's do that again. Now, it looks like, though, that the EPYX Fast Loader didn't load, but that's okay. Let's try it without first. You can see it takes a lot longer to load without the EPYX Fast Loader, so we'll give it some time. The Commodore 64 Core does load in real time. Let's list it. Okay, it's there. Let's run it. Okay, now we've got that black screen. Oh, there we go. Use fast load or compatible load. Let's use compatible load just to make sure. So we'll do C. Read the manual or play the game. Let's play the game. Keep those fingers crossed. I do have a light here, which means we have some activity. And now we just wait. I am wondering if their fast loader that they appeared to have built in would have sped this up. Probably, but I don't know if it was compatible. So I just want to make sure we check it out with the compatibility first. And then maybe we'll come back and try that. Oh, we have something here. Very cool. Sonic Team 64 presents loading, please wait. So we got past that hardware requirements because it is recognizing that the core does have the REU, which is kind of nice. Still waiting. I'm feeling good about it though. The light's still on. Oh, look, we have a progress indicator now, so that's good. At some point, it's probably going to ask us for disk number 2. Wow, this takes some time to load, doesn't it? Oh, looks like we're almost done. Okay, the progress indicator went away. Oh, here we go. Load full game into REU immediately. Do we want to do that? Hey, we've gone this far, we may as well. Let's do it. While this is loading, by the way, if you've not checked out my user guide series for the MEGA65, make sure you do that. Link in the video description below. Also, check out my new channel, retroCombs Tech, where I look at modern tech that might appeal to those of you in the retro community or just you love tech in general. There's already some good stuff there and more stuff to come. So make sure you check that out, go over there and subscribe to that channel as well. Link down below. Then you have double the retroCombs. Could you ask for any more? Wow, this is going to take a while. I'm so glad I chose to preload everything into the REU. Okay, this is painful. I'm going to speed some of this up so it will not be real time, but I'll try and give you an estimation of how long the entire load took right here. Okay, so you should see something popping up right here that says it took this long to load. I want to think at some point it's going to ask for that second disk to load that into the REU, but it hasn't asked for it yet. Oh, and lo and behold, there it is. Okay, now this is a big test. I'm going to press help, and then I've got to change this one to this one right here, which loads it. Now we'll press help to close the menu again, and I'm going to press fire, and here's hopeful that it'll load. And of course, it looks like the joystick is in the wrong port, so I'm not going to manually do it. We're going to do that from the help screen here. We're going to flip the joystick ports here. There we go, and help, and then try that again. There we go. Okay, so you can see right there, that's why the core is really pretty slick. It lets you do those things that would have been kind of tricky on a real Commodore 64. Looks like I've got some activity. It is. Back in the day, if we had had this would have been one of those, hey, you want to play some Sonic? And you say, yeah, I'll play some Sonic with you. And then you say, well, let me get it started loading. And then you go have some dinner. And then after dinner, you come back and you flop in the second drive and you press the joystick button. And you say, hey, you want to play a game of Monopoly? Yeah. And then you go play a game of Monopoly. And then you come back and maybe you can play Sonic at midnight. Looks like it's done. We've got it. The Sonic the Hedgehog Sega title screen. Press fire to start. Wow. We'll do some headphones. Hang on. I want to hear this. Oh, this looks nice. What's going on? Oh, there we go. Now, this is the demo. I'm not playing it. Let's let it go for a little bit. That is really good. Wow. Okay, let's go ahead and try and play around. So, fire button. Press fire to start. Here we go. This on the 64, this is amazing. I do not remember how to play this. I think I just died. I remember playing this on the Sega Genesis, but I don't remember. There we go. Actually, I forgot I have a speaker over here so I can hear it. But it does sound really good with the headphones, I will say. I'm obviously not very good at this. Well, I think we answered the question, can you play Sonic the Hedgehog for the Commodore 64 on the Mega 65? Why, yes you can. And I'm looking forward to playing this, but one of the things you won't want to do is, it's not going to be a quick game. You're not going to just log on to your Mega 65 and say, I want to play a little Sega. I want to play a little Sonic the Hedgehog, and you're playing. You're going to wait a while. Now, what would be nice is if this did have some kind of save state function. Currently, though, this menu doesn't have any kind of save state. If we could save that state to the SD card, then we could just quickly load it back up. That would be pretty slick. I'm not seeing that in the menu. Maybe that's a recommendation for the folks maintaining the C64 Core for the Mega 65, because that would be really nice to be able to save the state, much like the freezer in the Mega 65 mode. Let's play a little bit more. Gameplay is amazing. I'm just going to say it feels really good. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that, where you can make that big. Look at that. Look at the screen. That is amazing that that screen is refreshing that long. Oh, yeah. There we go. Can I get to that platform? Uh-oh. Got it. Oh, I don't think I wanted to do that. All right. Again, we can play Sonic on the Mega 65. I'm really excited about that. And I love, again, this is one of those features that really make the Mega 65 worth the money for those of you on the fence, because you've got a Commodore 64 basically here that feels like a Commodore 64 and can play most, at least I've not found any titles it can't play yet. So I'm going to turn off the Mega 65. Oh, that was painful to do that, knowing that I'm going to have to load all of that again. All right, let's turn it on. So EPYX Fast Loader is working now. Let's go ahead and let's try first to, and again, I'm just going to use the commands here. Okay, because I reset the Mega 65, we're going to have to go back into our menu and set everything up again. So we'll go here, mount our first disk here, and then we want to use the REU, so we'll do that. Okay, very, very good to know. I'm using the hardware slot, which has the fast loader. So if you use the simulate in the core, you can't use the hardware, so I can't use the fast loader. So the result of that is I can't use the EPYX Fast Loader to load Sonic the Hedgehog on the C64 Core, because I'm disabling that to override it with simulating the 1750 REU, because when I hit spacebar, you notice it's one or the other. Let's check and see if we can use its internal fast loader built into the software and see if that speeds things up. All right, let's pull out the EPYX Fast Loader here. Let's turn it back on, and let's see if we can get to a point where we're playing the game faster than if we load everything in to the REU. Now, the negative to this is before we can run the fast loader, we have to load the fast loader into the core, which, so this would be the exact same experience you would have on a C64. The way I understand it right now, there's no way to speed that up because we can't use, of course, the cartridge again. So let me go ahead and run this, and we'll go through the option to speed this up a bit. Okay, we're going to use the fast load. Okay, we're going to hit F, and hopefully that will work on the Mega 65 C64 Core. Okay, read the manual or play the game. We want to play the game. We do not need to read the manual. That loaded pretty quickly. That wasn't bad. Of course, that's just the title screen. Loading, please wait. Oh, that loading seems a lot faster. See that? And we're almost done. Check this out. It'll be interesting to see what that next option is. I think the next option is, do you want to load it into the REU? So we could speed load it into the REU, it seems like. But I think we want to, let's not do that. Let's not load the full game into the REU and see what happens. We're already, this is good, because we're already playing at this point. It is buffer. You can see it here. It's loading from the floppy. So it is going to take a little while, but that's pretty good. Now that is playable, gentlemen. That is, we can do this. And so at some point it's going to ask me to insert the second .d64 image file, but I don't know that I'll ever get a chance to play that far into the game that I will see that. So there you go. This, wow, this is really good. So you can get to it a lot faster if you use the fast load capability, and that fast load capability is available on the C64 Core. That is very impressive, folks. So there you go. There is us trying out Sonic the Hedgehog on the MEGA65 with the C64 Core. It does work. I'm super excited. By the way, again, if you're enjoying the MEGA65, check out this video, which gets you started into the MEGA65 User's Guide series. I think you'll enjoy it. And thanks for entertaining me today while we load up Sonic the Hedgehog. retroCombs out. This is so cool.